The Poundcast is in part sponsored by Mint Mobile. Say goodbye to your overpriced wireless plan and switch to Mint Mobile. Mint Mobile is here to rescue you with premium wireless plans starting at $15 a month. All plans come with high-speed data and unlimited talk and text delivered on the nation's largest 5G network.
If you like your money, Mint Mobile is for you. Shop plans at
mintmobile.com/poundcast. That's mintmobile.com/poundcast. $45 upfront payment required, equivalent to $15 a month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Additional taxes, fees, and restrictions apply. See Mint Mobile for details.
This episode of the Poundcast is in part brought to you by Louisville Vegan Jerky Company. They make Louisville Vegan Jerky. That's right. It's meatless, soy-based jerky, and you can find them at lvjco.com. And they have lots of different flavors you can choose from, such as buffalo hot wing, pepperoni pizza, smoky Carolina barbecue, and they have limited edition small batch flavors such as Nashville hot chicken, cheddar jalapeno popper, and honey glazed ham. And get this, 10% of sales of this flavor go to the Dare to Care Food Bank, which has been helping out families in Kentucky for the past 55 years. So if you order on the website and use the code word Poundcast, you get 20% off your order. Now, this stuff is bagged in the United States. It has a shelf life of 9 months, and you don't have to order it online. If you want to order it in person at stores, you can find it at places like Whole Foods and Sprouts. And just check out their website, lvjco.com. Once again, use the code word Poundcast and get 20% off your order. Welcome to the Poundcast. My name is Brent Weinbach, and on a couple episodes ago, we were talking about colors. I was talking about blue versus brown, because blue used to be my favorite color, and brown became my favorite. I realized that brown was my favorite all along, really, when I looked deep inside myself. And I don't want to dwell on it too much, but I was thinking a little bit more about colors, and I thought I'd just start this episode off with a little bit more about colors, specifically blue versus red, because that comes up a lot, I feel like. I mean, that just seems like a cultural institution or something like that. Blue and red, these seem like opposites in a way, even though they're not really opposites. The opposite of blue is orange, I think, and the opposite of red is green. So, and yet these feel, red and blue feel like opposite sides of some sort of spectrum, I think. You've got hot and cold, right? Anytime there's a hot and cold symbol, it's blue and red, or red and blue. There's, they represent fire and water, or water/ice. So you've got that, you've got blood versus Crips. And it made me think about, does everything within the red category kind of correlate, and sort of play against everything in the blue category? For example, are blood gangsters, are they hot? And are blue gangsters, Crips, are they cool? And then there's also, you see this in the, in police and firefighter. Firefighters are red, police officers are blue. So, and I think that one does work because firefighters are sexy. I mean, everybody loves firefighters. If you go to Chippendales, which I've done, you're going to see some firefighters. They're sexy. They're hunks. And police, it works for blue because if you get to the level of being a detective, usually you're portrayed in a cool way. Detectives are cool, they investigate things and they've seen a lot and they're cool or whatever. And then you think about, so how do Crips and Bloods fall into that? I mean, are there really any difference between the Bloods and the Crips besides the colors? In my mind, and this could be my imagination, but as somebody who was fairly conscious of Bloods and Crips in the early 1990s, when gangsterism was at its peak, I feel like, it seemed as though that Crips were cooler and that Bloods were maybe more wild, and that there was some sort of correlation there. And what about politics? There's Democrats versus Republicans. Republicans are red-blooded Americans, I guess. This is where it comes from. I'm just wondering how they adopted those colors. The Republicans are red-blooded Americans, and meanwhile, Democrats are depressed at the state of things, usually, climate and things like that. And so I'm just wondering if perhaps, they're just depressed, and therefore are they... they're cool. They're blue. They're blue because of that. They're sad. So Democrats are sad, social injustice, and so forth. It does seem like that Democrats are more cynical. And well, actually, no, that's not true. I guess everybody's cynical, I guess. But yeah, I think that there is something about that hot-blooded American is a red or something like that. So I guess what I'm really trying to say is that gang members that are Bloods are Republican and they fight fires, and Democrats are Crips and they're sad but also maybe cool or something like that. And I guess Prince is sort of the mega mix of them all. But it is interesting to me how much blue and red appears in everything, in sort of the everyday culture of life, right? And, but I will say this, there is, if you have jock itch, or the way we call it now on the Poundcast, yoke itch, if you have yoke itch, there's going to be a burning sensation, and that's red, right? And yet there's also the moisture that creates the fungal yoke itch, and moisture is wet, and so therefore that's blue because that represents water. So I guess that yoke itch basically is the ultimate union of blue and red, and so perhaps Prince did suffer from yoke itch on a regular basis, and so my heart goes out to him. My heart goes out to him wherever he is. So as popular as blue and red are, and so integrated into everything we do, it does make you think. Those are two of the primary colors, but it does make you think, where's yellow in all this? Why is, or green, I guess, I mean, if you're going with light, but let's just say more commonly, if we're talking pigments, we're going with red, blue, and yellow. Where is yellow? Yellow is hardly ever used, it seems like. And why is that? Why isn't there some, why it would seem as though that perhaps instead of purple being the sort of middle ground between, so this means that purple means warm, I guess. If you mix hot and cold water, you're going to get purple water. That's going to be just sort of a lukewarm water. But Seems like yellow should be in there somewhere. I guess yellow and purple, those should be a thing. And come to think of it, ain't that the truth? Isn't yellow the opposite of purple on the color wheel? Let me think about it. You've got, see, if green and red. Yellow could be the opposite of purple, which is kind of interesting if you think about it. That if those are complementary in some kind of opposite way, then that sort of makes a lot of sense. I don't know. It's a real mind twister, I guess. But, all right. So the thing about yellow is it's such a bold color. Certainly red is bolder than blue, but yellow is the ultimate boldest color. Yellow is more extreme than anything else. And so, I don't know, maybe yellow's so extreme and bold, and yet the word yellow describes a coward. That doesn't make sense. I mean, if yellow is the boldest color, then how could the boldest color be such a scaredy cat? That don't make no sense, does it? So, I think we should start redefining the word yellow, and it should no longer mean cowardly. It should mean the person is very brave. Oh, that person is yellow. Yeah, that person went in there. There was a fire in that building, and that person was so yellow that they went in there and saved the 3 people in the building and the cats. That person was yellow, and so for that they deserve this this award or something like that. Yeah, I think we need to sort of reclaim the word yellow or yella, and it now means brave, because it really should be. Yellow is the boldest color. Green is the sort of when it comes to the light, that's the other primary color, but let's not even talk about green, I guess. I tried doing yellow when I was in high school at one point. I tried doing a yellow polo shirt. I think I'd seen a yellow polo shirt on somebody once, and I thought, maybe I can do yellow. I tried it. It's a bit bold. It definitely puts you out there. I mean, if you want to kind of blend in high school and you want to go under the radar, yellow's not really the shirt you want to wear. But I did do it, and I remember even somebody I knew saying, "Yellow, huh? All right." I'll be honest, I kind of made it work a little bit. It's not my first choice for a color, but I think that I could, I don't know, maybe it could work. Nah, there was a certain point at which I thought, look, this maybe could work, but it's not really for me. I mean, it can't be Easter every day, right? So I think it was very yellow of me to try on a yellow shirt, actually. And then sometimes you see yellow cars. I had a friend who had a yellow car. Actually, I think he'll be a guest on the podcast at one point. He had a yellow car. Yellow cars are an interesting choice because they seem more common in the 70s or something, yellow cars. But, taxis are yellow. It's such a loud presence, yellow. To get into a yellow car, everybody notices. I feel like it makes you a target. Yellow. Aren't the golden arches, when they say golden for the yellow arches for McDonald's, aren't those yellow? But I feel like gold is closer to, golden is going to be more like orange, I feel like. But anyway, so yellow, yeah, it's interesting that yellow is not just people say it's cowardly, but it's associated with gold kind of. So I don't know. It's just colors are crazy is all I'm kind of getting at, I guess. But anyway, yellow cars are crazy. I think that's probably the least likely color I would use for a car. I would just feel so naked if I was driving around on the streets. You want something that just blends in, gray, or black. Strangely enough, white blends in more than yellow. White is kind of almost ghostly. It's invisible. If you want to become a ghost rider, you get a white car. I would never get a white car. I want a dark one. I just want to blend in with the crowd sometimes when I'm in traffic. I don't want those traffic helicopters spotting me from above. But anyway, I've been in my car and I've been hearing some noises. I remember not that long after I bought my car, I was hearing a rattling noise, and that was kind of discouraging. I mean, when you buy a new car, you think it's not going to make any noises for a while, and probably a year into it, or maybe less than a year, I started hearing a rattler. And I mean, it's off-putting to hear the rattler when you just bought a car. You're hearing this, this sort of when it's an idle, when you're in the idle phase. That's kind of just not right, I feel. And I think what I try to do is I got these pads, I got these maxi pads, and I put them in. I had to open up this panel or something and put the maxi pads in there with wings, because I wanted to, I wanted to give my car wings. I wanted to. I wanted to feel like I was in a DeLorean or something. No, I put some pads in there, and I think that kind of helped with the rattling, but it didn't. No, I still hear it sometimes, and so it doesn't really work. And then lately, I've been hearing this new noise, and I hear this when I'm driving. I don't even hear this when it's idling. I'll hear this kind of sticky squeak. You ever hear a sticky squeak? This is pretty recent, and I've had the car now for 7 years. And I'm hearing this squeaky, sticky noise, and what is that coming from? It almost sounds like a couple gallon jugs of water kind of rubbing against each other or something like that. Where's that coming from and why? And then I started hearing this, and then really recently I started hearing this kissing noise. It almost sounds like a kissing noise. It was almost a squeak, but then it sounds more like this. I'm starting to hear that noise. Where is that coming from? If I go over a hump, if I hump with the car, I hear it. Once I hear the hump, I hear it. And then I hear this breathy sort of noise. I don't know if it's the engine, but I hear this breathy noise that sounds like this. Something like that. And then sometimes if the hump is pretty hard, I'll hear it like that. And I don't know if that's maybe the vents or something like that, or maybe because sometimes I'll put the heater on, maybe if the heat is on and then I go over and I get a huge hump, I'll hear a and I'm thinking, where is that? Is that coming from the exhaust or something? Or I don't know what that's coming from, but it's off-putting because the car's not that old and I shouldn't be hearing those noises. I'll hear this noise. I go over the hump. The heat is on. I go over. I get the hump. It's a huge hump, and then I'll hear. And I hear that. And then I don't know where that's coming from. And then sometimes I start, and then I'll hear some of this. And then really, really recently, I'll hear this noise that sounds like this. And then it smells like sulfur. I don't know if that's some sort of another exhaust issue or something like that. I hear this thing. I go, oof. And it stinks. And then then it sounds like this. Oh, suck mice. Something like that. I hear this. It sounds like he's saying suck something. I don't know. Suck mice. He goes, suck mice. I think he's saying suck mice or something like that. I guess what I'm getting at is I think that my car could be maybe, I don't believe in ghosts, but maybe it's haunted. Maybe my car is haunted is all I'm saying. Because no, I don't believe in ghosts, but I think if somebody else was driving my car, they would think it was haunted. I think they would think it was haunted by a horny ghost. I think maybe. I don't know. To me, it must be. I'm thinking it's the engine. It's the exhaust pipe. I don't know.
Just wanted to take a moment right now to mention that this episode of the Poundcast is in part brought to you by Mint Mobile.
Most people like keeping their money where they can see it. Unfortunately, traditional big wireless carriers also seem to like keeping money too. But you can say goodbye to your overpriced wireless plan's jaw-dropping monthly bills and unexpected overages. Mint Mobile gives you premium wireless plans starting at $15 a month.
I've been using Mint Mobile for years, and whenever I see my friend's phone bill, I'm like, what? Are you kidding me? My friends are like, I can't go to the movies tonight, Doug. My phone bill's too high. I say, just get Mint Mobile and we can all go to the movies. Come on. Another plus of Mint Mobile is that you can use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan, and you can bring along your phone number as well as all your existing contacts.
And all plans come with high-speed data and unlimited talk and text delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. If you like your money, Mint Mobile is for you. Shop plans at mintmobile.com/poundcast.
That's mintmobile.com/poundcast. $45 upfront payment required, equivalent to $15 a month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Additional taxes, fees, and restrictions apply. See Mint Mobile for details. And back to the episode.
You know when people use the expression ghosting? I don't know if I've talked about this before on the podcast, but I'm not really behind that expression. So ghosting, what it means is if you are talking to somebody in a romantic kind of way or something like that, or if you're dating somebody or whatever, and then they or you completely shut it off and you stop talking, they call that ghosting. If you just disappear, basically, is what it is, I think. If someone just completely shuts off communication with you, actually, maybe it's not even in a romantic way. I think even if they're your friend or whatever, or even not even your friend, maybe they could be somebody at Anthem Blue Cross or something like that, or you're just trying to. It's the person maybe it's your insurance agent, inspector, or something like that, or maybe it's your doctor. In fact, maybe you're telling them about your Jokic, and you're talking to them about it. You're having a good conversation about Jokic, how to prevent it, and how to, but yet how to recognize the ultimate union of blue and red. And then all of a sudden they just shut things off with you. They call that they ghosted you. Because they disappeared, and ghosts can disappear, but I don't really buy that. I don't really believe in that, because to me, ghosts, they haunt you and they kind of harass you a lot of times. They don't leave you alone. I feel like if someone keeps either two things. One, you can't get them out of your head if they've left you. You can't get them out of your head, so they're haunting your mind. Or if they won't leave you alone, I feel like that's ghosting. I feel like if somebody is a stalker, that's more like a ghost. Stalkers are ghosts. They won't leave you alone. They're haunting you. So yeah, if somebody stalks you, they ghost you, I think. So stalkers are ghosts. To me, he ghosted me. That means he stalked me, I think. He just won't leave me alone. He's hiding outside my windows. At night, I'm hearing noises. I'm hearing car noises. I'm hearing provocative car noises at night, and it's because the guy's outside my window. Well, he's a ghost. He's basically ghosting me. That's what I think. I would stand more behind that phrase being used in that way, I think. And I think if someone is completely gone from your life, if they disappear, to me that's just more like dying. They're dead. They're dead to you. And that's not really a ghost, because, especially me, I don't believe in ghosts anyway. But I think it's that you die. It's basically like becoming a ghost without the fantasy element, and therefore there is no ghost. And so instead, you're just you're a dead body instead. Okay, now that I can get behind. So maybe you would say something like this. You'd say, so yeah, I was talking to this really cute guy, but then all of a sudden he corpsed me. Something like that, right? He corpsed me. Or he's corpsing me. Yeah. Oh, I don't know. He won't get back. He's corpsing me. Yeah, you're a corpse. You're not a ghost. Ghosts hang around. Corpse are gone. That's how it works. That's the new word, and that's how you should say it. That's what I'm saying. Or another word you could use, if you think about vanishing suddenly, then maybe that's like a magician, So, yeah, I haven't. Oh, you haven't heard from him in weeks. So is he magicianing you? Is he magicianing you? Something like that. Whatever the case may be, it's some sort of noun, and you turn it into a verb, I guess, or something like that. I was wondering if anybody gets stalked. Do they feel? If you get stalked for long enough, do you ever get used to it? And is there some sort of Stockholm syndrome that I can't imagine Stockholm syndrome works? Well, yeah. Could anybody get used to getting stalked and then they kind of miss it if it ends, the stalking ends? Certainly Stockholm syndrome wouldn't, I can't imagine that working for pain. If you're experiencing pain on a regular basis, I mean, I can't imagine you missing that if the pain went away. If you get, say, migraine headaches every day or whatever, say you take 3 aspirin and 2 extra strength acetaminophen a day because of headaches. I don't know. Is that something you want to keep doing because you're adverse to change? What is Stockholm syndrome? Is it because you get, I don't know, maybe most people are creatures of habit, right? I don't know. I am, certainly. But I don't think I'd get used to somebody making, horny car noises outside my window every night. I don't think I'd ever get used to that. But who knows, I mean, you wouldn't like it at first because your base is that you're going to not, is that you don't have that. And so that's a change. I'm adverse to change is what I'm getting at. Okay. And I don't like my world being rocked. I think I like to be in control of my world in a lot of ways. And part of control is having things be the same. And I think that's kind of the same for a lot of people, I think. I'm adverse to change. I don't like new things. And, Yahoo recently. Have you seen Yahoo lately? My brothers get on my case for me saying Yahoo. I've always called it Yahoo, but I guess they're trying to tell me that it's Yahoo. Wait, is it Yahoo or is it Yahoo? They get on my case because I say it wrong, and I don't know if I just said it right or wrong. Wait, what do I usually say? No, I usually say Yahoo. I was saying it correctly just now. I guess I say Yahoo. I say Yahoo. And I guess they tell me it's Yahoo. Anyway, Yahoo changed. And now I'm changing the way I call it, I guess. Maybe I'm acclimating to the new to the change or to the criticism or something. But Yahoo they have this new interface, I guess. And I don't know, it's only affected, I have multiple Yahoo accounts, and only one of them got affected, but I can't change it. You can change it to basic, which I don't want, but if you want the regular, you can't change it to the old regular. And that's too bad. Unfortunately, it hasn't affected all my accounts, but yeah, what a drag. Why do they have to change things? I hate when they change things that are working perfectly fine. I don't like that. I don't like to change when things are fine. I'm adverse to change. I am adverse to change. And that's why I wear the same underwear every day. Because I'm adverse to change, My briefs used to be tight and white. And now they're loose and brown because I'm adverse to change. And yet they changed colors. Okay, so that's a joke, obviously, but it's kind of rooted in truth in some way. When I was a kid, when I was in elementary school, I did wear the same underwear every day. It was some sort of adversity to change kind of thing. I think it was kind of like a security blanket, but they were security briefs and security socks. And the only thing that made me start changing were various things about my body. I was so adverse to change that, well, I wore not only the same underwear every day, I also wore the same clothes every day. I wore the same t-shirt. I wore the same pants. I just wanted to wear the same thing. And again, I think what it really comes down to is, I don't know, it is probably some sort of control thing or something. But yeah, when I was in 4th grade, I got athlete's feet because of not wearing the same socks every day. And so that made me embrace change more. I started changing my socks every day because of that. So I got rid of the athlete's foot, or the athlete's feet, because it was on both of them. And I started to do that, change my socks. And then when I started eventually my crotch started to smell. I didn't get yoke itch, but I did start to stink a bit, and so I started changing the underwear also. But yeah, I tell you though, so it's rooted in truth, I don't do that now, of course. I mean, nowadays, I'm changing the underwear every day. Okay, got to. Changing my socks every day. Got to. I left my clothes in laundry recently. And usually I try to get them out of the washing machine immediately afterwards, because I've heard that if you leave them in there, you can it can grow mold or mildew and stuff. And yeah, I got some new sweat clothes, and I talked about it on the last episode. I got some yoga pants. Yoga pants. You think that? I guess that's probably what Dalsim wears from Street Fighter 2. Is he probably, when he's not fighting and he's just kind of going about his business, he probably wears yoga pants. Probably wears yoga shirts too. But I got those yoga pants, and I decided to keep them. I don't know why. I just thought maybe I can use these for, some sort of outfit sometime. When I'm, maybe if I decide to maybe turn some tricks or something like that on Sunset and Vine. If I really want to just sort of embrace the Hollywood lifestyle, maybe I can wear these yoga pants out on the streets. You know what I mean? Show off my buttocks, I'm thinking. You know what I mean? Maybe I can get some hits. Maybe I can get some paparazzi shots or something like that if I wear yoga pants out on the street. I can finally get the glitterati that I've been chasing after all these years. So, I was washing these clothes, and then I, sweatpants and a sweatshirt, and I forgot about it, and I forgot about it, and it was in there for maybe 10 hours. And I looked it up on the internet, and it said, yeah, if you leave it in there for 8 to 12 hours, you might need to just do the cycle again, because it might have developed it might have developed some sort of mildew or something. I thought, all right, I don't want that. So I did it. I did the cycle again. But I thought to myself, geez, I wonder if some kind of fungus could develop from having your clothes in there. And if I didn't do that, and by the way, maybe 5 years ago even, I might have not even thought about that. And I might have just put it in the dryer after that. And I'm just thinking to myself that if you could get, if if you had some sort of fungal clothing or whatever, mildewy or moldy clothing or something like that, I wonder if you wore that, you could, I mean, not just get yolk itch, but maybe just get full body itch. I wonder if you could just get athlete's body, or just, I just wonder if you could just have a fully fungal body. And I guess if you had a fully fungal body, then that would make you become truly the purple one. You would be red from burning, and fungally sort of wet with moisture. You'd be blue and red. You'd be the ultimate fusion. That's how you could be the ultimate purple. That's how you live up to the print standard. I think that I would probably, I don't know, it probably would have been fine, honestly, but I don't want that yolk itch, and I definitely don't want that body itch. Or how can I say body to sound kind of equivalent to yolk? Okay, if jock is yolk, then body is Woche. I don't want that Woche itch. Woche itch. Woche itch. That's what it is. Okay, so that's how you call. That's the new way to say body itch. Is you say Woche itch. Woche. I don't like doing chores. You know what I don't like about chores? The problem with chores, I'm talking about doing laundry. I'm talking about not just laundry. I'm talking about, cleaning, vacuuming, and all that. The problem with chores is that you do them, you get it done, and then weeks later you got to do it again. Oh, it's just a never-ending cycle. I just don't want to do that. Does anybody like doing chores? Not me. Not me, because it just seems so pointless that you have to do it again, You do it and you got to do it again. And the problem, another problem with chores is that I'm anal. I'm anal as all heck. Sure, I could maybe pay somebody to do some of the chores with me or do them for me, maybe. But I don't trust people. I don't trust people to fully do the job. And look, I'll tell you right now, I've hired people to clean. I've hired cleaners before. I have done that. But I always find myself afterwards doing follow-up jobs after they leave. I see the work they do, and I can see, because dust is the biggest issue, right? Is getting rid of the dust. And me, I'm a bit of a dust buster. I don't like it, and I got to get rid of all of it. And it's hard to do because just dust happens. That's what they should make a shirt actually that says dust happens. Instead of SHIT, they should just say dust happens, because it's true. Dust does happen. And so yeah, I just would hire people, and then they would do the job, and then I would see that, oh, there's still dust everywhere, and then I'm doing the cleaning myself. I would spend an hour or two after they're gone doing extra cleaning to finish the job, and I don't know, I just, at this point, I don't trust anybody but myself to get the job done. And I'm like that with a lot of stuff. It all comes down to control, I guess. Now, I want it clean is the thing, but I just feel like, I shouldn't be paying somebody to do something that I'm ultimately going to do myself anyway. I'm anal. What can I say? I'm anal. Does anybody ever do that? Does anyone go around? That should be a shirt. It should just say, I'm anal. That should be a shirt, I think. I'm anal. With an exclamation point. No, I might do, I think a collaborative process. I think if you think about it like a collaborative process, that, okay, I'm paying them to help me clean. Okay, maybe that could work, I guess. They're going to do some of the work, and then I'll kind of finish it off. Maybe I just got to think of it in that, kind of reframe it, I guess, or something like that, maybe, But, because the bathroom is, I will say, I do have help. I do I do have help with the bathroom, because the bathroom is a job. Cleaning the toilet and all that, it's not something I really want to do myself so much. And you know what I also think? Maybe if you pay somebody to just focus on certain things, they'll do a better job if their job is smaller. Then they'll do a more thorough job. So maybe that's actually kind of the trick to hiring a cleaner, is don't have them clean the whole place. Just have them focus on your toilet, and then they will make that everything. They'll make that everything you want it to be. Pristine, flawless victory. I know I've talked about this a lot on the Poundcast. About sitting down to go pee-pee or whatever. I've talked about it many times before. But one thing I don't think I've mentioned yet is that, even sitting down, it can sometimes get messy, even if you're sitting down to go pee. Look, it's cleaner than if you're standing up. Okay? It's definitely cleaner if you're standing up, but I might sit down to pee sometimes, and I might sometimes get some Euro mist on my balls. And if you don't know what Euro mist is, it's a sort of misty spray that offshoots from the urine, because urine can sometimes have a misty spray, and so that's the Euro mist, and that can get onto your balls, I guess. It's sort of a ball fog of sorts, Look, crazy things can happen when you have a hose like mine. My hose is crazy. I don't know if the nozzle to my hose is kind of just, maybe a little bit kind of twisted at this point after all these years. But I don't know. I mean, I'm definitely creating some sort of Euro mist. And so sometimes I have to wipe my balls and my hole. I definitely have to wipe my hole. I'm not talking about my butthole. I'm talking about my nozzle, basically. I have to wipe the hole, and I don't know. Just when I'm wiping up, I'm wiping this Euro mist off my balls and sort of the driblets or whatever off of my nozzle. I have to. I think about how much more messy this would be if I was standing up. I probably get Euro mist on my pants, and who knows what else, Yeah, it's messy. Peeing is a messy life. It's a messy job. I don't know. I wonder, let me know in the comments. Do you ever get Euro mist on your balls? Do you ever get Euro mist on your pants? I don't know how to get pee to be straighter. I want to make my pee straight. I need some pee straightener. Is there such a thing as pee straightener? Look, I'll be honest with you. I have had peeing standing up. I've had things shoot in the wrong direction, and I've got pee kind of, in places I didn't want. On my pants, yes. Ain't that something? To pee your pants and you're standing in front of a toilet? Ain't that something? It's just a little Euro mist, but it's still that's not right. I need pee straightener. What causes a crooked nozzle? All right, anyway, look. If you have an opportunity to sit down, you really ought to sit down. Man, just wait till I'm older. Okay, in 20 years, I'm going to probably just be soaked in pee. That will be my new thing. I'll just have to embrace it. You know how older people do smell like pee sometimes? It's probably because their nozzle gets more and more worn out, and then it just sort of, the pee is just, they're just getting backsplashed by pee the whole way through. I remember delivering pizzas once. I delivered to this one guy who was older, and not only was he kind of wet seeming, and he smelled like pee, but when he handed me the money, the money was wet. It was damp, and it smelled like pee. I think the pee had been sprayed. I think that the cash had been sprayed. It was wet cash. It was blue cash, if you, so to speak. It was yellow cash. Pee is sort of the fusion of yellow and blue, because it's wet and it's yellow and it's bold. I don't know. I could complain about dogs again, but I'm not going to do that, I guess. I feel like I've not been getting enough sleep because, well, it's partially my fault. I've been staying up late doing crossword puzzles, and I don't need to do all that, do I? I don't need to. Why am I wasting my time with this kind of stuff, crossword puzzles? But then I'll go to sleep late, and then in the morning, I got these neighbors, and it's not just, it seems like every neighbor has a dog, and they bark in the morning. It's crazy. They're just barking nonstop in the morning. Why is that? Why does that happen? And what should I do about it? Should I be yellow and just go up to them and go ring on the go in there and say, go up to them and say, hey, I was curious, is there something going on in the morning? I don't know, or just let it be, or maybe the less yellow thing to do would just be to leave a note or something like that. Maybe put a note in the mailbox or something. But it just seems like, why? I don't understand why. Doesn't that bother other people? I just wondering if that bothers other people when dogs are barking nonstop. They have them out, and then they let them bark and bark. Are people okay with that? Especially early in the morning, It wakes me up. And then I put earplugs in, and then the earplugs are in, and then I don't hear the alarm. And then I'm late to class, and then I show up late to class. And then the teacher says, why are you tardy? Why are you being a tard right now? I said, but teacher, I couldn't help it. I have my earplugs in. I was all plugged up. Teacher, I was all plugged up. And they say to me, just because you were plugged up doesn't mean you have to be such a tard. I say, but teacher, that's the reason I was a tard right now. That's why I'm being a tard right now, is because I was plugged up. These people's dogs are barking. The solution would be for me to go to sleep earlier, but it's still, okay, if I went to bed at, say, 2 o'clock, that's a reasonable time for me, is to go to bed at 2. Then I'm still getting woken up at 5 hours later, and that's not enough. So I got to figure out something to do so I don't have to plug myself up. So anyway, I think I'm going to wrap up this episode, I think. But, there's more things we can do in the unzipped. I'm thinking, okay, there's a couple things we can do in the unzipped. By the way, speaking of dogs, this woman brought in, I was at the store the other day, okay, just a regular supermarket, and this woman came in with 2 pit bulls, big old pit bull, just kind of wild, red-blooded pit bulls. I mean, she didn't seem in any way like she needed assistance, or that they were service dogs. They weren't wearing those vests, those official vests or anything. And I thought, how does the store allow this? How are they allowing this woman to have pit bulls in here? This is just not right. You look at the floor at that place, and it's so dirty there, and it's because of these dogs. I told you about the one time that I went into the supermarket, and there was poo in the aisle. One of the aisles had poo. Clean up on aisle 5 or whatever. I can't believe they even allowed the poo to be there for that long. There was logs of poo. Logs of poo. And I think they were from dogs, but who knows? It could have been from a human. Or maybe they were, they're trying something new at the supermarket, Maybe they're selling maybe they're selling feces now, they're trying a new angle. But how does a supermarket allow such a thing? Explain to me that. And I see these people there working at the supermarket, and they're talking to the woman. She was checking out, and they're all being friendly to her, and they're asking her what the names of the dogs are. Oh, this is, Fluff, or whatever his name is, or Fluffy. This one's name is, Leroy, or whatever she called it. She said, this is Leroy, and this is Fluffer, or something like that. This is Fluffer, this is Buffer. And I think, why are you being all friendly and getting to know the dogs on a personal level like that, knowing their names and stuff? You trying to get intimate with such a dog? I can't believe that they weren't just telling her, no, you got to keep those outside. Put them on a leash. Put them outside. Gosh, remember the 80s when they used to do that? That was the best back then. The dogs are outside, they're tied to a thing outside. That's how you do it. That's 80s style. People didn't bring their dogs anywhere. They kept them at home. Okay, here's the hypocrite part. Here's the hypocrite part on my end is I don't like going to people's houses when they're all dogged up. There's dog hair everywhere. And I feel like there was a time, maybe I just didn't notice things as much in the 80s, but it felt like dogs were kept outside more often in the 80s. There were dog houses, and the dogs were out there, and they didn't come inside. I remember my cousin's house. It was a pristine, clean place. There was no dog hair anywhere. It was pristine, and the dog. I never saw a dog in there ever, really. In some later years, I did see a dog in there, but in the 80s, I never saw the dog in there. The dog was always outside, and the dog had a doghouse. And I feel like it was like that in the 80s. I know that's not true, okay? But now I'm over here complaining about dogs being outside because that's what I want with that dog. With dogs that are barking in the morning, I'm thinking to myself, keep your dog inside. So I don't know. There's contradictions in everything, okay? There's contradictions in everything, and that's what life is all about. Contradictions. It's about the duality of red and blue and the contradiction of yellow. I guess the reason maybe the dogs are barking outside is because they usually keep them inside, but then they'll put them outside for some reason in the morning, maybe to go poo-poo or something like that, to maybe, lay some supermarket style logs outside or something like that. And so maybe they're barking because they're not used to being outside or something like that. Maybe if they were used to being outside, they wouldn't bark as much. But that's not what I hear. Maybe they're barking at squirrels and stuff. I don't know. Maybe wood rats and stuff. Maybe they're barking at raccoons. I don't know. Maybe they're barking at lizards. Anyway, I'm gonna wrap it up. I know I said some not controversial, but I know I said some contradictory things, but that's okay. It just adds to the mystery. Just kind of keeps you guessing a little bit, keeps you wanting more, hopefully. And if you want more, you can get more. Okay? Patreon.com/Poundcast. I continue on for at least another half hour or so, and And I will continue on and, talk some more with you. And you can you can also get the episodes a couple days early if you want, and they're ad free mostly. And yeah, I mean, honestly, the Patreon account is really what keeps this show alive, really. So, and I want to delve into that a little bit more when we go unzipped. That's what it's called when the show ends, but then we keep going. It's called unzipped. So I mean, you guys know that already. Yeah. And that's if you want more. If you don't want any more, if you had your fill, okay, I'll see you next week, I guess. But if you want to watch the show, you want to watch a video of the show, you can go to youtube.com/thepoundcast. Okay, it's different than just Poundcast. It's the Poundcast. And there's an Instagram account, which is the Poundcast. It's an instant. If you ever wanted to follow an account that didn't do anything, that just sort of sat there, this is the one to follow, the Poundcast. No, I mean, occasionally we'll post things on there, clips and things. But there's clips on the YouTube channel as well. So yeah, you could do that. Thank you to Jack Birch for his help behind the scenes. Thank you, Jack Birch. And thank you to everybody who's interested and listens and watches the show. Yeah, there's some things I want to discuss with you, Patreon people, which we'll do momentarily. And maybe there's some other things we can get into as well. I think I might, I'll address something that is related to the Patreon when we get there. And then also I might share with you this special feeling that I feel when I just observe certain things. It's a warm feeling. And that's all I'll say for now. I'll explain more when we get there. But yeah, that's about it. My name is Brent Weinbach. This is the Poundcast. See you next time, or we'll see you in a little bit in the Unzipped. Bye-bye.